If the conflict between an elephant and a buffalo escalates into a fight, then the winner will be obvious. An elephant is more than 8 times bulkier and stronger than a buffalo, easily sweeping this obstacle aside. The elephant can use a ramming attack in battle, against which the buffalo has no chance. Moreover, the giant is armed with powerful and sharp tusks, the length of which reaches half the length of the opponent's body. The flexible trunk can also help in battle, as the elephant can grab and lift a buffalo whose weight exceeds a ton. However, if you think that elephants constantly beat up buffaloes, then you're mistaken. Usually, these species treat each other with pretty much respect. Here, a huge elephant approached a female buffalo with a calf too closely. The giant had no hostile intentions, but the mother started getting nervous. Her little one sensed this and immediately attacked the elephant. You've got to agree here, its desperate courage and pressure are admirable. It defends its mother, who can barely keep up with the calf to stop it. Such pressure not only impresses us, but also the elephant. The giant cautiously retreats to avoid accidentally harming the little one. The calf is 20 times smaller than the giant, but it successfully pushes away the one who dared to scare its mother. The calf doesn't realize that the elephant could simply step on it. Fortunately, the elephant is peaceful. Such noble behavior of the elephant and the courage of the young bull deserve your like, I would say, doesn't it? Elephants and buffaloes have something in common, both species of herbivores that don't eat meat. But at the same time, they are brave and aggressively defend their kin, especially from the same family group. Like here, lionesses attacked a herd of buffaloes, expecting the herbivores to flee. Quite often, bulls do indeed obey instincts and start running when a predator suddenly appears. But this is only the initial reaction based on the fact that the horned animal doesn't know how many predators actually surround it. In this case, fleeing would be indeed the best option, but this time the lionesses were approaching almost without hiding, so they lost the element of surprise. This was a mistake, because brave buffaloes don't intend to panic. They boldly resist enemies, covering each other and supporting leaders. Usually only a few of the largest and mighty buffaloes counterattack, but the other members of the herd carefully monitor the situation and protect the flanks. They are ready to propel a side attack at any moment. And if an enthusiastic, enraged bull gets too carried away with an offensive, it can return to its herd for cover at any moment. The lionesses regained composure after the first stunning counterattack by the buffalo. Predatory cats are ready to surround and pounce on it, but the hoofed animal realizes this in time and rejoins the herd. This behavior is quite similar to the defensive tactics of elephants. Perhaps it is precisely this similarity that leads to cases of extraordinary solidarity? It's hard to say, but elephants and buffaloes do indeed often support each other. Here, a lion bride managed to surround a separated elephant calf. The young one's weight is already approaching a ton, so it cannot be really easy prey. However, the elephant calf clearly lacks experience and combat skills. Through the efforts of experienced lionesses and mighty lions, the pride managed to overcome the herbivore that was bravely and desperately resisting. The predators have already brought down the elephant calf and are ready to finish their ordeal. The lions hold the victim, not allowing it to stand up. Doing this isn't really too difficult, as the elephant's limbs, designed to support the immense weight, are not particularly flexible and resemble columns. Even on the ground, the elephant calf resists, trying to strike each aggressor, protecting its throat by tilting its head. But the lions act very efficiently and cohesively. No matter how much time passes, maybe a minute or 5, but the lions will inevitably defeat the opponent, reach its neck, and either strangle the elephant calf or simply bite and scratch it until causing fatal injuries. This horrifying scene was witnessed by a herd of buffaloes. They understand that lions are not hunting one of them, but an elephant. Bulls shouldn't concern themselves with a representative of another species, especially since buffaloes and elephants sometimes engage in conflicts themselves. But for some reason, the brave hoofed animals hurry to help the elephant calf here. The buffaloes attacked the lions, who did not expect external interference. The charging attacks on the predators focused on their prey caught them off guard. Thanks to reflex speed and reaction, The lions managed to dodge the frontal assault at the last moment. However, they could no longer hold on to the elephant calf. The lions were not prepared to repel the sudden attack. Moreover, there were several buffaloes. In other words, the rescue operation was not the whim of a single hoofed animal, but the desire of the entire group. They attacked the lions in a wedge formation, led by the most furious bull. The elephant calf was saved. Buffaloes not only protected it from the predator's attack, but also guarded the little one until it stood up, preventing a possible second attack by the predators. According to researchers, elephants have actually a phenomenal memory that they hardly forget anything. Perhaps they are really able to be willing to reciprocate to those who have helped them before? Otherwise, it's kind of difficult to explain this specific case. Lionesses pounced on a buffalo that resisted them powerfully. Grabbing the herbivore by the throat immediately wasn't possible, as the hoofed animal was ready to repel such an attack with powerful headbutts. Since approaching such a dangerous opponent from the front would be foolish, the lionesses took a longer route to victory. One of the lionesses leaped onto the back of the hoofed animal, digging her claws into its hide. However, without a stable foothold, it's challenging to unbalance such a massive beast. Meanwhile, other lionesses attacked the buffalo from the side. The bull spun, twirled, and repelled all attacks, demonstrating astonishing reflex speed. However, fighting lionesses, especially with one on its back, proved challenging for the agile buffalo. The lionesses riding the buffalo constantly tried to bring down the opponent, posing a threat to its spine. If her jaws reached the base of the buffalo's spine, they could paralyze it and take away its hind legs ability. Therefore, the buffalo fiercely circled, trying to both scatter the lionesses on the ground and shake off the lioness from its back. However, the panther weighs approximately 1/4 of the buffalo's mass. It's not really easy to maneuver such a burden. The buffalo fights heroically, but it will not last long. However, nearby, there was a huge and powerful elephant. It noticed the buffalo in danger in the adjacent thickets and headed over that way. The elephant single-mindedly ran to rescue the buffalo. Maybe they could be old friends? Perhaps it's gratitude for saving the elephant's calves. Or did the 5-ton giant just imagine itself as the local defender of herbivores? It is hard to say, but as soon as the enormous head with long tusks emerged from the bushes, the combativeness of the lionesses immediately waned. They didn't want to contend with both the buffalo and such a formidable giant. The lioness on the buffalo's back realized she would either jump off or be removed by the elephant's trunk. The clever hunter chose the first option, and the pack of predatory cats retreated. The lionesses simply didn't know what they were getting themselves into. It turned out that this buffalo was not only skilled, but also excelled in communication. This is not a unique case, though. Here, a lion and lioness together managed to bring down a buffalo to the ground. A bit more, and the predators would reach its throat. But suddenly, an elephant approaches. If it weren't on top of the hill, it could have trampled them. However, just the presence nearby proved sufficient. At the last moment before the lions could finish the prey, the elephant merely shifted towards the predators, and that alone was enough to drive them away. The buffalo immediately got back on its feet. It is undoubtedly grateful. The ability to make friends in the African savanna can save a life as effectively as one's strength and speed. Unfortunately here, the elephant was late. It appeared to save the buffalo too late. The lions had already strangled the hoofed animal, but the noble gesture of the giant is worth appreciating. Moreover, it fiercely descended upon the predators, almost trampling them. The enraged giant seems to avenge its best friend here. It raises a cloud of dust, and it appears to hit the body of the hoofed animal. But for the lions, it will be a lesson here. Attacking even a lone buffalo will now be frightening for them if their friends, the elephants, are nearby. The young lionesses understood that they were dealing with quite an old buffalo here. So the predatory cats decided to attack. They surrounded the hoofed animal. Indeed, its movements were constrained and not as fast as they used to be. However, the lionesses did not consider that the buffalo's horns had continued to grow and now reached gigantic proportions. Between the sharp tips, the head of a lioness together with her shoulders could fit. Moreover, the buffalo had not lost its strength. It was ready to deliver crushing blows with its horns. The lioness had to make an effort to dodge dangerous blows and lunges from the opponent. The fight lasted long enough, and the cats were the first to exhaust their strength. Their movements were swift, but with each counterattack, the buffalo's horns came closer to the head of one or another lioness. They realized they had made a mistake in choosing their opponent here. The already aging buffalo effectively repelled all the attacks and managed to deter the audacious young cats with its horns. A whole pack of wolves surrounded just 2 bisons, but they put up an impressive resistance. The predators clearly chose the wrong victims here. The bison lifted a wolf on its horns with the same ease as you would lift a tennis ball off the ground. Bison horns are short, but thanks to their crushing force and the speed of a sharp strike, even this weapon is sufficient not only to lift a wolf off the ground, but also to send it into an acrobatic flight. The wolf does a somersault and falls in front of its astonished peers. They continue the attack since wolves are one of the most effective predators on the planet. They're hard to intimidate. Still, bisons only intensify their pressure and counterattack the enemies, covering each other. Before the colonization of North America, the wild bison numbered in the tens of millions. This was despite the presence of grizzlies, numerous wolves, and mountain lions on the continent already. The success of the species is linked to the incredible strength of these noble animals. Buffaloes not only defeated the lion, but also drove it up a tree. However, this wasn't enough for them. One of the bulls almost bit the lion's most valuable part. The cat dodged the last moment. The lion did not expect such a sneaky attack on its most precious asset. The predator definitely won't mess with such an enemy ever again. Which of today's cases where buffaloes resisted their enemies surprised you the most? The black panther is a case of mutation, due to which the color of the predatory large cat becomes much darker than the usual ones of its species. That is, it is not a different species, but simply predatory cats which outwardly differ from its relatives. Interestingly enough, black panthers are born in 2 species that are thousands of miles or thousands of kilometers apart: leopards that live in Africa and Asia, as well as jaguars that live in South America. Although these cats may seem similar because of their spotted color, in fact they are not very similar to each other at all. The jaguar is much larger, it also differs in physique, and there are black dots inside its spots. The leopard is smaller, tighter, more elegant, and its spots look like rings or solid black dots. The black leopard is no way anatomically different from the usual one. There is an opinion that they can become more aggressive, but it's not confirmed by facts and research. And they can also look a little bit different. There are individuals whose skin is really almost black. And there are leopards whose fur is dark brown, and then black spots will stand out perfectly against its background. In any case, the unusual color does not prevent either leopards or jaguars from disguising themselves in the jungle. Maybe it even helps. Therefore, if white tigers and lions hardly survive in nature due to difficulties with laying to the victim, then black spotted cats, on the contrary, are successful predators. When the black panther goes out to fight, it looks epic, as if a piece of the night got claws and fangs. This leopard underestimated the aggression of a black relative who came to drive him away from his territory. The black panther was so brave that he decided to arrange a fight right in the crown of a tree at a very great height. A large adult hyena is larger than a teenage leopard. When a pair of spotted predators wanted to take away her food, the hyena decided not to run away and not defend herself, but to attack and eat the leopard. This was a mistake. Although the young cat is inferior to the mother hyena in size, its strength should not have been underestimated. The leopard repulsed the aggressor with powerful blows of its paws and alone coped with her attack. Meanwhile, the second leopard stole the food. The teamwork is 100% effective. And this is despite the fact that after having finally matured, leopards usually live independently and do not unite in groups. Maybe in vain. If the leopard played role-playing games, he would probably choose his characters assassins or ninjas. And it's not just a phenomenal talent to disappear from under the noses of enemies. It's about pragmatism. While the lion goes into a frontal attack on the opponent, wolves fight in whole packs, and tigers attack bears. The leopards avoid wasting energy. He's not lazy, just why bother when it's not necessary? Therefore, if a competitor tries to take away prey, and there are no trees nearby, the leopard may well throw lunch and run away so as not to fight. But this is not cowardice, but calculation. Don't you believe it? This hyena also thought that the leopard would run away. She underestimated the enemy and made a fatal mistake. Without the cover of a dozen more relatives, the hyena itself is a tasty prey for this pragmatic assassin from the world of wildlife. It doesn't even look like a fight. Against a cruel and strong leopard, one hyena is simply helpless. The main trump card of the leopard is his ability and agility combined with an incredible ability to sneak up. These impalas felt safe. And you can understand them. They can run so fast that only a cheetah can catch up with them, and then with great difficulty and with all the effort. And in the terms of maneuverability, they have no equal among mammals at all. The impala is able to turn 180 degrees on the run with almost no loss of speed, jump over the pursuer, dodge the claws of a predator for a fraction of a second before impact. Impala eyes, like many ungulates, are located on the side of the head for better coverage. The field of view of this ungulate is much better than that of most animals. This feature allows you to notice the threat in advance, even if it creeps up from the back. You could literally see what's behind your shoulder blade if you had such an eyesight. But you know what? The leopard doesn't care about all these advantages. The impala just didn't know who was hiding in these thickets. If the leopard is within striking distance, the impala's speed no longer matters. How did he manage to sneak up so close if the impala sees what is behind her back? Disguising a leopard is almost an art. He becomes almost invisible thanks to his spotted skin, and, most importantly, the ability to freeze with his whole body and not move for a very long time. And when the leopard is already close enough, a single jump, and he breaks the impala's spine or wrings his neck with one crushing jerk. The leopard is a master of ambushes. But what happens if someone tries to sneak up on him? This lion saw a competitor who decided to get a nap. The lion is about 3 times more massive and much stronger, so if he catches a leopard, he can deal with it within a few minutes. So now the lion's task is to sneak up on the spotted competitor unnoticed. A step, another step, then another, and now the leopard is within striking distance. Are you worried about him, or do you wish good luck to the Leo? Who are you rooting for in this case? It seems that in a second, the King of Beasts will be celebrating victory, but at the very last moment, the leopard wakes up, and now the sharp, powerful claws of the leopard are already flying into the lion's eyes. He doesn't want a long fight. A lightning-fast, furious rebuff to knock down the attacking rush of the enemy, and the leopard is already fleeing. His life was hanging by a thread, but excellent reflexes and a bit of luck saved the leopard. The lion just didn't know who he was messing with. Even during sleep, the leopard remains vigilant. A whole column of people and cars impresses any predator. Even a pack of hyenas is afraid to approach a large cluster of 2-legged loud creatures that could also be armed. Wild animals know that you need to be afraid of loud cars, guns, and people who deal with all of this. Therefore, a noisy and numerous team of people was not afraid of anyone, just like their pets. It turned out in vain. The usual composure and pragmatism that is inherent in leopards completely denies them when it comes to dogs. For some mysterious reason, spotted cats fiercely hate dogs and try to deal with them at every opportunity. Neither hyenas nor lions dared to attack a group of people, although they clearly had a lot of food that could be taken away. The leopard has dared more than once. The camera lens often shows cases when a leopard risks himself and enters cities, enters a yard, or even a residential building to track down and grab a dog. Moreover, large individuals do not frighten him, but only tease him. During such outings, the leopard pursues only one goal: to deal with the dog that allowed itself to enter the territory of a predator because it thought that people would protect it. The leopard does not care about the danger so much that he is able to attack the dog right under the feet of armed people or under the door of their home. In order to sneak up unnoticed, the leopard in such cases has to use all his skills. But it looks epic. The leopard seemed to appear out of nowhere, as if he had opened some kind of portal, and immediately rushes into battle to have time to strangle the dog before people even realize what happened. Surprisingly, this is not a strange habit of one individual, but the behavior of virtually the entire species. Such episodes of brazen and desperate attacks on dogs are found from time to time throughout the habitat of leopards. Sometimes the spotted cat manages to cope with the enemy, sometimes the dog is successfully rescued, but in any case, the leopard has a hard time. To get into the environment, to give yourself away, to cause fear and anger among a lot of armed people is a so-so plan. Regardless of whether the attack on the dog was successful, saving your own skin after that is still a task. But as you can see, the leopard is willing to take any risk. What do you think this is related to? Let us know in the comments. Maybe you have the answer to the riddle.